Alright, good evening folks. We are here for round 6 of Race Room Asia Championship League. Today we are here at the Silverstone Circuit located in England. It's home to the British Grand Prix, which was first hosted in 1948. So yeah, did you know that it's actually built on the Rocky Air Force station? So the track is 5.891 kilometers and has 18 turns, of which the famous first corners are selected and checked. It's actually the fastest and most iconic corners in Silverstone. So now into this 30-minute qualifying session. We have a bunch of 4 drivers here, led by Jackass as well. I think the front BMW is there, it's Taufik. So each of them going for their outlet here. More than half of the grid is on the track right now, so they wanna have some gap between each other to clock a decent qualifying run. But remember, it's 30 minutes, so still have time. Alright, so we are on board here with Jackass's foil. Alright, so we're on board now with Ayman Hazik from SimFai Motorsports. No stranger to e-motorsports, Ayman Hazik. He has participated in quite a lot of races in his home in Malaysia. So let's see now, Sector 1, Sector 2, both in the purple sessions now. Currently Ayman Hazik clocking fastest 2 sectors in this qualifying session so far. Right, and he crosses the line with a time of 1 minute 52, but is soon overtaken by Jackass's Woyo, 152.3. And Ayman Hazik drops down third as Jason Tay from Singapore moves himself into second. Fuki Sagir moves himself to third. So it's a pretty tight fight there between second to fourth so far. Now we'll see, as now Arvind Taruna clocking 2 fastest sectors so far. Let's see what he can do. Yep, Arvind Taruna moves himself up to first with a blistering time of 152.1. That yellow BMW of his, he'll be one to look out for later on. Right, now on board we are looking at Blake Holden from Australia. So Blake is actually from our Pro-Am class. So there are actually 2 classes in the RACL. So the Pro-Am is for drivers who are new to e-motorsports. So it's a good platform for them to build up their racing disciplines. Alright, next up we have Taufik here. Taufik also from Malaysia. Green sector so far. Taufik has been out of the RACL for quite a while now due to commitments back at home. So will he be able to get back his form from before? Next up, Azrul Asma Hashim from Brunei. I think he's the only Brunei driver in our series so far. Clocking 2 green sectors so far. So he should be able to improve on his time. Currently in 9th position. Driving the number 27 Audi. Right, he improves on his personal best but still remains in 10th position. Meanwhile, now we're on board with Jason Tay. Jason Tay now clocking fastest first sector. He of course told me that he chose this particular BMW livery because it looks like the Singapore flag. Of course, the BMW in number 18 Shell livery car. Reminiscent of the red and white of the Singaporean flag. Right, not purple in the second sector, but not too far off either, so we'll see whether he can make up some time in the third sector as well. Yep, he crosses the line and doesn't manage to improve on his time, stays in second place. Alright, one of our fast drivers, Mada Andika Rama, is not racing today as he is in Hockenheim right now, participating in the Race Room E-Motorsports Challenge over there, so we wish him all the luck. Meanwhile, his fellow countryman Jaka Siswoyo sitting in third position right now. Right, here we have Jonathan Lee. Jonathan is actually a retired driver. He used to compete competitively up to 2008, but now he's back in Race Room Asia Championship League, so it's good to see some new drivers, old drivers and active drivers coming back into this series. So it's a good mix of experience here we have today. Jonathan, of course, hailing from Singapore, does a bit of track driving as well. He owns a DC5 Integra, a Subaru STI and a Evo 8. And from 2004-2008 he was actually endorsed by Subaru as a racing gamer. So an illustrious career Jonathan has. Alright, 20 minutes in, 20 minutes left, and we have almost everyone clocking their lap times now except for just one driver. So as of now, Arvind Taruna is still leading the pack with a 1 minute 52.1. The last driver to have yet clocked a time is Eric Guo Jianghao. So let's focus on Eric. Let's see how he's getting on. Okay, he actually managed to clock a time there. So let's go back to Henry Cole. Henry as well, I would say veteran driver. He's been driving for a very long time. Very underrated in my opinion. I myself have driven against Henry and he's quite a steady driver. And at the moment Henry Cole sits in 13th. So it's a very close race from 2nd to 4th. Yes. Only a few tenths separate them. Siswoyo now currently in 3rd position. Fastest first sector, but 2nd sector not fast enough. Will he be able to improve on his time? Alright, past that last corner at Club. Will he be able to make it? Yes, he moves himself up to 2nd. Actually very close to Arvind Taruna. Just 0.032. And Arvind Taruna right now clocking 2 faster sectors of this qualifying session so far, and he crosses the line with the fastest time of 1:51.917. He extends his lead from Siswoyo. Now we're on board with Taufik from SimFai Motorsports. Two personal best sectors there. Taufik currently sitting in 8th position. And of course, in this qualifying session, DRS is not allowed, so it's all down to the driver. Aside from the DRS, even the settings aren't be allowed to change, so it's all same setup. So it's all down to the driver. And Taufik improves by 1 position, moves himself up to 7th position. Alright, Siswoyo here. There's Jason Tay right in front of him. Jason as well trying his best to clock a good time. His compatriot. Alif is not here tonight. Alif was of course another fast Singaporean driver. Alright, so right now we are focusing on Mada Andika. He is actually recommended by Rama Maulana. Mada Andika is actually a real life racing driver. He's currently Pro M in the RACL. So it goes to show we have a very good mix of experience here. Some of them are actually real drivers like myself. And I can tell you folks, it's not easy racing in the simulator. A lot of mental challenges, I would say. It also can be physically tiring, especially if we are racing long races. But mostly you'll be mentally tired. And if you guys get the opportunity, I would recommend you guys to try it out. It's the lowest form of motorsport at the moment, lowest cost for motorsport at the moment. So it's a good thing to see that e-motorsports is also. Oh, we have off there by Zulfikri Wajdi. Thank God that no one was involved in that incident. So as I was saying, e-motorsports is picking up in Asia, which is a very good thing, and SimFai is one of the frontiers of this movement. SimFi Solutions, of course, providing and sponsoring some of the prizes here. SimFi is actually sponsoring a button box and DTM style cockpit for the first drivers of both the Pro M and the Pro Series. Speaking of which, I know some of the drivers here have aspirations of doing racing for real as well. So some of which are people like Ayman Haziq, Taufik Mohin, and then there are people who wants to go through the engineering route, such as Blake Holden. He's currently pursuing a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering and is looking to study motorsport engineering in Europe next year. Alright, so Jason Tay clocking a fast Sector 1, but not enough for his Sector 2 and 3. So far both Jaka Siswoyo and Jason Tay are clocking really quick Sector 1s, but they are not able to follow up in both Sector 2 and 3. With about 10 minutes left, it's gonna be anyone's game actually, between first, second and third, to be honest. SimFai and Jaka Siswoyo here. SimFai trying to get a tow from Jaka Siswoyo. Alright, Rafi Haditama improves his time a little bit. Not so fast like, oh, he misbrakes there. And goes back to the pits. Now we're on board with Henry Cole. coming to turn 9 in Cops. And on to famous corners. Turn 10, 11, 12, and 13 and 14. Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel. Fastest corners in Silverstone. Kind of reminds me of Suzuka, to be honest. The S's in Suzuka. Alright, 2 green sectors from Henry. Will he be able to improve on his time? He's currently sitting in 13th. Going to the last few corners, 16, 17, and 18. Right, good run out there. And he moves up 1 position. Moves himself into 12th. Now SimFai 2 green sectors. And he improves on his time, but stays in 8th. Gap between him in 8th and 7th, Blake Holden, is quite big, so it's going to take a lot more than that to improve on his position. Next up, we have Fikri Sagir in the pink BWT AMG Mercedes. 2 green sectors so far. Currently sitting in 4th position. Fikri Sagir is the only privateer in our in the Race Room Asia League right now. Alright, so Fikri aborted that run and is back into the pits, and we are back with Henry Cole into Maggots and Beckett's. Alright, here is Hanger Straight, going to turn 15 and Stowe. Alright, 2 green sectors again. Will Henry be able to improve on his time even further? Nope. Not enough. Alright, so we can see here Arwin Taruna, the leader of the pack, exiting the pits right now. Will he be able to clock a faster time than he already did? And he is going off the track, taking a shortcut, so it seems, because there was traffic right in front of him. Very interesting move there by Arwin Taruna to avoid traffic. Interesting. In fact, the camera is doing its best to locate him. He might be off the track at the moment. Yep, Owen is taking a shortcut here, and it's caught on camera. He wants to complete the outlap as soon as possible. Stewards might want to look at that. And rejoins the track behind SimFai. It'll be pretty interesting. Let's follow Arvin Taruna. As he goes for his flying lap. Purple sector by Arvin Taruna right now. He's actually catching up to SimFai here. But if SimFai is not going to drive fast enough, he might be impeding Arvin Taruna's pace. But if he's driving fast enough, Arvin might be able to get a tow from SimFai. So let's see. Into Maggots and Beckets here. Riding the curbs beautifully. Right, slow sector there for sector 2. Into the last corner, and Arvin Taruna just misses out and goes back to the pits. Alright, next up we have Jason Tay. Jason Tay clocking a fast sector 1 here. Let's see if he is able to string together 3 purple sectors. Not enough. Slow there on sector 2 as well. I think he took quite a lot of curb there going through Maggots and Beckets. So with less than 30 seconds to go, the front row is locked out by Arvin Taruna and Jaka Siswoyo, by 2 Indonesians. In fact, Jason Tay is surrounded by Indonesians. We have Fikri Sagir to keep him company on row 2. Alright folks, and that's the end of qualifying. So for tonight we have 14 cars on the grid. Of course, while we wait for the drivers to roll up onto the grid, we'd like to thank Heisingveld, Taurus Industries, Asia Driver Search, SimFai and Plus 65 Motorsports for sponsoring the prizes for the RACL. Right, less than 30 seconds to go till lights out. We have a grid here. Be pretty interesting to see how things goes into turn 1, which usually where all the action happens. Jaka Siswoyo in second, Arvin Taruna in first. Let's hope we have a clean race tonight. Alright, so this is, here we go, race 1, 30 minutes. It's lights out and away we go. Alright, good run there by Jason Tay. He tries to squeeze in between Jaka Siswoyo and Arwin Taruna, but they squeeze him out. Good run there by Jaka Siswoyo. Managed to move himself up to first. Arwin Taruna now in second. Jason Tay just right behind the bumper of Arwin Taruna. And Jason Tay takes on the inside, and will he be able to make it stick? They go side by side. Jason Tay just right in front. He takes the inside line here. They're gonna outbreak each other. Arwin gives a little bit of space for Jason, but he makes sure the door is not that open. And Jason Tay returns into third position. Meanwhile, while these two are scrapping it out, Jaka Siswoyo is extending his lead. You can see there Jason Tay weaving in and out, trying to take a peek on Arwin Taruna. Here we go into Maggots and Beckets. Rafi Haditama now catching up to Jason Tay. Fikri Seger in the pink BWT Mercedes also just right behind. And Haditama moves out, tries to go on the outside, but doesn't make it stick. So it's gonna be a fight for third position here as Arwin Taruna catches up to first place Jaka Siswoyo. Jason Tay now having to defend and attack at the same time. It's gonna be a pressurizing 28 minutes for him. Arwin Taruna now just right behind Jaka Siswoyo. Remember folks, in the race DRS is enabled, so we'll soon be able to see DRS overtake soon. Meanwhile, SimFai and fellow Malaysian Taufik Mohin fighting it out for 7th and 8th respectively. Australian Blake Holden in the middle of the two fights here. SimFai, you can see that takes a different line from Taufik. Meanwhile, Arwin Taruna is not letting Jaka Siswoyo go. He is still on the trail for elusive first position. Meanwhile, we just right behind them, we have another exciting battle here between Jason Tay, Rafi Haditama, and Fikri Sagir. But it seems that Fikri Sagir has lost some momentum there, so it's gonna be a two-way fight here. Jason Tay as well manages to get back some pace. He is closing into Arwin Taruna. Can see there 4 cars. Arwin Taruna tries to go on the outside. Will he be able to make it stick? And yes, Arwin Taruna moves himself back into first position. Very risky move there by Arwin Taruna. And as Jaka Siswoyo tries to attack Arwin, Jason Tay manages to catch up, and look at that guys, they are all bumper to bumper. It's a 4-way fight here. We have tonight at Silverstone, Jaka Siswoyo now right on the bumper of Arwin Taruna. Under braking now. There's a bit of contact there. Yes, there is. Jason Tay makes contact with Jaka Siswoyo under braking. Jaka Siswoyo drops positions there. Currently in 11th. Meanwhile, while that was happening, Rafi Haditama dives onto the inside of Jason Tay and moves himself up to 2nd. Lots of overtaking here, folks. And Jason Tay takes back that position. This fight is not over yet. Rafi Haditama has DRS open right now. You're gonna see a DRS overtake here. No, not close enough. Fikri Seger in 4th position, beating his time. waiting for his opponents to make a mistake. Alright, still a four-way battle here. So Arvind Taruna is slowly opening up the gap. Jason Tay trying to look for any pace that he has right now to reel Arvind Taruna in. They are just 600th of a second between each other. Remember folks, as long as the car in front of you is within a second, you get DRS. Basically DRS means drag reduction system. That's where those huge wings drop down and reduce the drag on the car, improving the top speed by up to 10 to 20 kilometers per hour. And we still have the car of Jaka Siswoyo there, stuck precariously at that corner. If this was a real race, it would have been a yellow flag. I think the yellow flag is on the screens of the drivers right now, as we see Jason Tay tries to take the outside on Arvind Taruna. Jason Tay here managed to find a pace to catch Taruna. So the fight for first is still not over yet, folks. Grab your popcorns, this is gonna last for quite a while, all the way up till their pit stops. Speaking of pit stops, let me remind you guys that there's a mandatory pit stop for each of the races. So drivers will have to strategize when to enter the pits, change the tires, or whether to refuel. For most of the Pro-M drivers, the beginners, they will go on full load for the fuel, whereas the faster drivers, they will take the risk of running low fuel in hopes to clock a faster lap time as the car is lighter. Alright, Jason Tay now has DRS open. He is closing the gap on Arvind Taruna on every straight. And so do the guys behind him. Rafi Haditama as well, within 1 second range from Jason Tay. Alright, as you can see the red P signs there on each of the drivers' name, that means that the pit window is now open. So from now till later on in the race, the drivers have a choice of when to pit in. Oh, in fact, the gap has closed so much that the four have bunched up together again. Right now, Jason Tay and Rafi Haditama trying to jockey for position here. Fikri Seger actually has the best seats in the house for this show. He better start doing something soon. Now we pan towards the back with Taufik and Blake Holden. And right behind him, Sim Kai Wen as well. Takes a lot of curb there. And we are back in action with the top four drivers. Rafi Haditama goes on the inside. But still too far. Alright, it seems that Rafi Haditama now wants a piece of Jason Tay. He too has DRS open. Same goes for Fikri Sagir right behind him. While these three are fighting it out, Arvind Taruna will manage to get away slightly. pursuit out of the last corner here. Clocking way past 230 kilometers per hour. Right, Jason, they're trying to block Rafi Haditama and at the same time trying to overtake Arwin Taruna as Jason goes onto the outside, but Arwin closes the door on him. Rafi Haditama as well, trying to jockey for position. This is very close stuff, folks. Meanwhile, Fikri Sagir in the pink BWT car, just not finding that extra edge to fight the two guys in front of him. So saying Fikri Sagir is the only privateer driver in this RACL championship. Car of Jaka Siswoyo that's still hanging on that curb. Alright, Jason Tay now tries to make a move. Tries to switch back. Goes onto the outside. Nope. Arwin Taruna is not going to take any of it. Still stays in first position. None of the front drivers have stopped to pit yet. This is going to be very, very close, folks. It all depends on who goes into the pits first now. And so far we have one driver. Z Wajdi in 13th position has already made his pit stop, as indicated on the screen there with that green P sign. Right, Jason moves on the outside. Rafi Haditama moves onto the outside of the track. Inside, outside. Arwin now is under fire by these two guys, Jason Tay and Haditama. I'm sure all four drivers, their tires must be short at the moment after almost 15 minutes of driving. Especially at the pace they are going at the moment. I'm sure their front tires are seeing such wear now. And Fikri Sagir takes on the inside of Rafi Haditama, moves himself into third. Rafi there, under braking. As I was talking about tires, that must be his tire there, wearing out. He must have had a lockup. And we have Blake Holden making a move on SimFai Wen. They are still fighting it out here, very close to each other, side by side out of that corner. Taufik is the winner of that battle. What was Blake doing? Tries to make the switch back, but SimFai Wen stays his position. Blake switches back to the inside, but SimFai Wen defends well. Now we're back into the top four. Fikri Sagir has lost his position. Rafi Haditama moves back to third. So as I was saying, folks, top four drivers hasn't pitted yet. That's gonna be the highlight of this race. When they pit, will the other three drivers at the back pit? That is the question. So undercut, overcut. Jason Tay is going for the undercut. No, actually both. Actually all four of them are gonna change tires together. Now let's see who clocks the fastest pit stop right now. Alright, so Arwin Taruna already stops for at his pit. Rafi Aditama as well. Okay, Arwin Taruna is going out of pits. And so does Jason, just right behind them. Alright, all 4 drivers get out of the pit. Still in their positions. But Jason Tay is the one closest to Arwin Taruna at the moment. So it's still, and the tires are still cold, so this will be pretty interesting. It will be round 2 of this fight for first position. So the gap now is slightly big, but Jason Tay is still within DRS range. Meanwhile, Fikri Sagir and Haditama are going to be fighting for 3rd position right now. Fikri Sagir takes on the inside and blocks the door. Moves himself in 3rd, but will he be able to make it stick? So you can see Sagir's pace is not as fast as Haditama's. So 13 minutes left into this race, and Fikri Sagir will want to defend with all his life for that position. Alright, Jason Tay now closing the gap to Arwin Taruna. 0.5 seconds. So what was a 4-way battle has now shrunk by half into 2. So it's going to be a fight for 1st and a fight for 3rd at the moment. Jason Tay getting so close to Arwin Taruna at the moment through that corner there with Jaka Siswoyo's car still stuck at that corner. It's very dangerous there. In fact, what has happened to Taufik Mohin? He has dropped to 13th position. I think he as well has retired from this race. Could be a bad connection. Meanwhile, Jason Tay now 0.3 seconds to Arwin Taruna. Rafi Haditama as well, closing on to Fikri Sagir. Haditama opens up the DRS. He is gonna make a move soon. Meanwhile, here we have Jason Tay closing in, but not attacking yet. In fact, Haditama has managed to make a move on Fikri Sagir. He moves himself up to 3rd position. Background there, we can see just a glimpse of that. The dark blue Red Bull car moves into 3rd. Jason again opens up DRS, tries to close the gap on the straights. Tries to get into attacking position. Doing his best to pressurize Arwin Taruna to make a mistake. But Arwin, of course, is a very experienced sim driver. In fact, folks, after 25 minutes, your mental capacity starts to dwindle a little bit. That's what I found out, at least. So this is the stage whereby drivers might start to make some mistakes here and there. As you see earlier just now with Haditama outbraking himself and letting Fikri Sagir in. Alright, so Jason Tay now moves onto the inside of Arwin Taruna. Arwin Taruna goes back to the racing line, but manages to defend. So as we can see, folks, Fikri Segir now going very, very wide. There's a bit of contact there, and he managed to just make it stick, but nope. Haditama not gonna take any of it. But out of that corner, Haditama makes a mistake, and Fikri Segir moves into third. Jason Tay now, DRS open, waiting again to make that move on Arwin Taruna. That car, Ojakasis Woyo, still stuck there at the curb. Meanwhile, these two, between Rafi Haditama and Fikri Segir, still going on. As I mentioned earlier, Fikri Segir doesn't really have the pace on Haditama, so he's gonna be defending with all his life right now. Less than 8 minutes to go into this race. Race 1. Now folks, we still have race 2 coming up. Jason Tay now 0.1 of a second just right behind Arwin Taruna. Right now it's pretty much a test to see who cracks first under pressure. Rafi Haditama on the outside, Fikri Segir on the inside. And Haditama moves back up to third. Jason might have took a little bit more of that curb than he wanted to earlier. The gap opens up just slightly, but with DRS that should cancel off that mistake. So this corner is where I believe Jason Tay is faster than Arwin Taruna. So that might be where Jason is catching up. Alright, so we can see that Arwin Taruna moves in to defend against Jason Tay. Sometimes when you stay behind the driver in front of you for too long, you might be too caught up in the driver in front of you, their racing line, so it might impede on your own progress as well. So the best is to not to stay behind for too long, not to focus on the driver in front for too long, and just focus on your lines, especially if you know you're faster than him. Meanwhile, Fikri Segir tries to make a move on Rafi Haditama. Doesn't make it stick. DRS assisted there earlier. And we're back in the action for fight for first position. It's a stalemate so far, but we'll see later on in race 2 where everyone's concentration levels will be put to the test, as these guys have been going at it for the past few hours, 2 hours I think. So for those of you who thinks that this is a game, well, it's not. It's really a test of mental concentration, being precise, and to be able to concentrate lap after lap for 3 hours straight. It's no easy task, especially these two guys right in front. Neither of them have cracked under pressure yet, both maintaining a stalemate. So are these guys. There were a few mistakes here and there. Alright, 3 minutes left to go. And the fight for first position is still going on. I think it's safe to say that you don't get a race as close as this in Formula 1 nowadays. You can see such races here in the Race Room Asia Championship League. Fikir gear again with assistance of DRS, tries to take the inside of Rafi Haditama, but to no avail. DRS, of course, introduced in Formula 1 first, followed by, in this case, DTM. Sparked a lot of controversy, split amongst purists and fans. Some prefer it, some don't. Some say it's artificial overtaking. But it is helping drivers everywhere, keep them close and ready to attack. So no complaints there. Alright, we are 60 seconds left into this race. And it seems that Jason Tay has lost a bit of pace to Arvind Taruna, who has been phenomenal so far in race 1. Fending off this close challenger of his. Right, 2, 1, and the checkered flag is out. This will be the final lap. Fikri now trying to make final move on Rafi Haditama. Let's go side by side into Maggots and Beckett, giving each other space there. A little bit of contact. expected when you're racing at this level, close to each other. While we'll focus on front two runners. They make their way through the final corner. And Arwin Taruna takes the checkered flag in first position. Followed by Jason Tay in second, Rafi Haditama in fourth, Fikri Sagir in third, Blake Holden in fifth, or in this case Holden Itama. I think there's something wrong with the card there, but Blake Holden takes fifth. Up, we have Jonathan Lee, sixth position, running a lonely race. He was pretty close to Andika in seventh, but I think Andika made a mistake somewhere. So second in the Pro M class comes Jonathan Lee. Followed by Andika in seventh. Azrul Hashim comes in eighth. Henry Ko in ninth. And Eric Howe rounds up the pack in 10th. So we have 3 DNFs here. Jaka Siswoyo, Wajdi in 12th, and Taufik Mohin in 13th. Now the drivers are on their in-lap. As you can see there, Jaka Siswoyo's car is still stuck at the curb. That would probably be the highlight of this race as well. So don't go anywhere, folks. We still have race 2 coming right up. It'll be the same format as well. But I believe it's a reverse grid for the top 8 drivers, as the cars come back into the pits. Alright, so round 6 of Race Room Asia Championship League. Race 1 concludes, and it's brought to you by SimFai Solutions, Asia Driver Search, Taurus Industries, Plus 65 Motorsports, and Helsingveld. So while we wait for race 2, let's talk about Asia Driver Search. So Asia Driver Search is based in Singapore, and they are actually sponsoring the pro class track challenge experience. So basically, the winner from that experience will be sponsored for a Toyota One Make race worth $10,000. So that's something the pro drivers will be gunning for the championship points. Taurus Industries will be sponsoring Nanopulsar 12S battery conditioner worth $160. Helsingveld is sponsoring their custom-made handbrakes worth $350. And last but not least, we have Plus 65 Motorsports sponsoring the 4th and 5th positions with Steam credits. Alright folks, so don't go away, we'll be right back for race 2 of the RACL round 6. Alright folks, so welcome back to race 2 of Race Room Asia Championship League as the cars line up for race 2. 40 seconds left, and as I mentioned earlier, the cars are in a reverse position. Alright, here we go folks. Lights out and away we go. Remember folks, this is a reverse grid, so everyone's starting out of position here. It'll be pretty interesting to see who makes up the most positions at the moment. But Jason Tay has managed to climb himself back to second. No, and now makes that first. Jason Tay is currently first, and he will want to run away from Arwin Taruna, who's currently stuck in traffic, in 4th position. Rafi Haditama second. Arwin Taruna now on the charge in 3rd position. Jaka Siswoyo just right behind. He would want to get back his positions that he lost earlier from his DNF. Friki Sagir in the pink BWT right behind as well, still stalking this 4 drivers in front of him. Blake Holden now, Pro-Am driver, actually chasing after the pro drivers at the moment. Very good pace from him so far. Fastest Pro-Am driver for tonight. Alright, so we're concentrating here on Fikri Segir. As you can see, Jason Tay is gonna want to run away as far as possible from Arwin Taruna, as Arwin struggles to get past Rafi Haditama at the moment. He will have to defend against Jaka Siswoyo as well. As we can see in race 1, Jaka Siswoyo had good pace as well. Just that, he makes a mistake there. Runs wide, pushes Fikri Sagir out, and now he is making contact with Blake Holden. What happened there, Jaka Siswoyo? Meanwhile, Jonathan Lee moves on the inside of Fikri Sagir. Jonathan Lee as well, Pro-Am driver, now in 6th. showing, even though he's a retired driver from competitive racing, he still has it all these years, and is now right behind Blake Holden. In fact, Jonathan now has DRS. You can see there his rear wing is flat and closes now. In fact, we are actually short of one driver. I think that is Ayman Hazik. Ayman Hazik is not in this race for race 2. So now we are on board with Arvin Taruna, gunning down Rafi Haditama at the moment into Maggots and Beckett's, doing whatever he can in his power to close the gap between him and Jason Tay. Jason now would want to be as consistent as possible to get a very good gap from Taruna and be out of DRS range. Taruna now with DRS open closes the gap on Rafi Haditama. With each time he opens DRS, his gap is getting closer and closer, as we can see on the screen right now. So now we have a fight between a Pro-Am driver and a Pro driver at the moment. Blake Holden currently in 5th position, defending his position, moves onto the inside, but Friki Sigurd takes on the outside, and he manages to make it stick and moves up to 5th, but not for long, as Blake Holden is actually now in 5th again. Meanwhile, Arvin Taruna now with DRS. He's gonna make his move on Rafi Haditama, goes onto the outside, and he managed to make it stick, and now he'll be chasing after Jason Tay. And will we be able to see round 3 all over again? But Haditama is not gonna let Arvin Taruna go so easily. He is still 0.4 seconds behind, and he will get DRS soon enough if we can keep this up for this lap. Meanwhile, at the back, Friki Sigurd has dropped all the way to 9th. He is fighting with a few of the Pro-Am drivers. Henry Cole now right behind Friki Sigurd. I wonder what has happened to him. All that pace from earlier seems to have been lost, but we can see a little bit of damage there on his front bumper. So that might be affecting his car's performance. Meanwhile, the gap between Haditama and Taruna has increased a little bit to 0.8 seconds. So even with DRS, Haditama doesn't have the raw pace on Arvin Taruna. And let's not forget, Arvin Taruna, of course, is the champion for Season 1 of RACL. So he will be wanting to show what he can do as champion of the first season. Also, folks, if you like what you're seeing here tonight, you may head to Race Room Asia Championship League on Facebook to inquire more on how to get into this series. Remember, folks, e-motorsport is coming up and coming here in Asia. It's already very big in Europe and the US, but it's only still a fetus, I would say, in Asia. So while it's still pretty small, now is the best time to get going before the crowd comes in. So yeah, drop us a PM and yeah, to find out more on how to get started on e-motorsports. As a driver myself, I must say that it is the most cost-effective form of motorsport, so give it a try. Meanwhile, though not as close as in race 1, we have a fight here as Arvind Taruna is closing up the gap between himself and Jason Tay. He is actually within DRS range here. The pit stop window is also open now. Jaka Siswoyo in 4th position. He had a bit of a hairy moment there in the first few opening laps. He's doing his best to recover. Arvind Taruna now, with DRS assistance, has closed the gap between himself and Jason Tay to 0.4 of a second. And now it's 0.2 of a second after that DRS was open. So he's gonna make his move now. Arvind Taruna goes on the outside, takes a peek. Jason's gonna be wanting to defend right now at the moment. Arvind Taruna, of course, in that striking yellow BMW, fighting against the bright red and white BMW of Jason Tay. So it's a BMW 123 at the moment. And Indonesia versus Singapore. It'll be pretty interesting to see how this one pans out. Might come down to how the pit stops are gonna unfold as well. But Arvind Taruna now takes a peek but stays back on his racing line. Did activate DRS right there, but he's very close to Jason Tay. And while Jason Tay is holding back up Arvind Taruna, Rafi Haditama is closing the gap as well between himself and Arvind Taruna. And because of that as well, 4th place Jaka Siswoyo is able to catch up. So we might see a bit of bunching here as Arvind Taruna dives onto the inside of Jason Tay. Jason Tay has no choice but to yield his position, but they're still going side by side. But Arvind Taruna managed to make it stick, and he moves himself into 1st again. And Rafi Haditama now on the outside of Jason Tay. He also wants a slice of that pie. Wheel to wheel there, but Jason Tay manages to hold out. Jaka Siswoyo now in 4th position. He will want that slice of that pie as well, as he made that spin earlier in round 1, in race 1. So now all of them has DRS at the moment. So jockeying for position here as Haditama moves on the outside of Jason Tay. Easily passes Jason Tay thanks to DRS. Jason here might be feeling a little bit tired from concentrating a lot in the race 1. Meanwhile, Arvind Taruna seems to have kicked it up another gear. He has opened the gap to 1.2 between himself and Haditama, so he is safe and out of DRS range. So no drivers has pit in yet. So they will probably wanna dive into the pits at the last possible moment, and as long as the tires can last. So there's a bit of tire management going on as well, but I don't think that helps a lot, especially if these guys fighting for first position. Alright, so now we're focusing on Jaka Siswoyo here. Gonna try to make a move there on Jason Tay, but he almost clipped Jason's rear bumper, so he had to abort that move. But so far so good, no major incidents from both races into turn 1. Alright, so Jason Tay here goes on the outside of everybody. He's gonna try to take it, but no. Stays in third position. Ballsy move there by Jason Tay. Jaka Siswoyo meanwhile from 4th jumps into 2nd. Now let's see if Jaka Siswoyo has the pace to catch up to Arvind Taruna, which is gonna be quite difficult as the two behind him are still close enough to get the RS. Rafi Haditama that gets out of shape, out of that corner. That would hurt. Yeah, as you can see, the gap is widening between Haditama and Jason. So there you go, folks. As I was saying earlier, after 25 minutes, that's where a human starts to create some errors there. Jason Tay as well, going out of shape, out of that corner. So mentally the drivers are struggling as well, and I'm sure the tires are screaming as well. Okay, now we are going back to the mid-pack as we see a three-way battle between Taufik, Blake Holden and SimFai Wern. Sorry, my bad. Friki Sagir. We totally forgot about him. Sagir earlier was in 4th, currently in 7th. Meanwhile, Taufik, who had few horrible races before, is currently in 5th position. Not bad. Yeah, Fikri Sagir, that confirmation. He has damage on his front bumper, as you can see there. Meanwhile, the front runners are all pitting in. Arvind Taruna is ready in his pits. Alright, so a bunch of people are coming in. Blake Holden as well. And Taufik. So whatever the front guy is doing, they are all mirroring the strategy. However, Jason Tay is still staying out, along with Fikri Sagir. So, Arvind Taruna has opted for the undercut. Undercut basically meaning that pit in earlier. So will that strategy work for Arvind Taruna? We will see, as Jason Tay now is gonna push as hard as possible to try to extend his gap so that when he comes in for his pit stop, and when he comes out, he should be in front of Arvind Taruna. Currently the gap is already 1 minute. So Jason Tay seems to be safe for the moment, but we will see. So now we're focusing on Rafi Haditama going against Jaka Siswoyo in 4th. Alright, so if you can see on your screen right now, the first two drivers, Tay and Sagir, hasn't pitted yet. So it'll be pretty interesting to see what's gonna happen. Arvind Taruna is actually fighting with Vicky Sagir at the moment. Fresh tires. I think Tay is inside the pit lane right now. Yep. Jason Tay has moved down to second. Meanwhile, we are now with Jaka Siswoyo. Jason Tay, you can see there in the background, he just comes out of the pit. So he drops to fourth. So that undercut by Arvind Taruna has worked for sure. He is now well clear from his rival Jason Tay. So those who had gone for the undercut seems to have benefited the most, and those who hadn't and stayed out longer are the losers for that strategy. So the only saving grace for those who came in later is fresher tires by 1 lap. So whether that makes a difference or not, we will see towards the closing stages of the race. Well, it's probably gonna be a 3 battle within these guys. Jaka Siswoyo, Rafi Haditama, and Jason Tay. As Arvind Taruna is currently comfortably in the lead. You can see in the foreground earlier. Because these guys are gonna be back at it again, as all 3 of them are within DRS range of each other. Jason Tay now side by side with Rafi Aditama. So you can see that Jason taking a very nice line out of that corner. He seems to be one of the faster ones out of that corner, as he takes a wider line compared to the rest, who takes a pretty tight line. So he carries more speed through that corner. Right now, only Eric Howe hasn't pitted in. He will want to do that soon. Though he is 4 laps down, he might have actually be retired from this race. Right, so now we are on board between Pro driver Taufik Mohin and Pro M driver Blake Holden. Blake Holden is actually in front of a Pro driver. It's pretty interesting, and it goes to show, guys, that even as a beginner, you may actually be faster than some of the Pro drivers here. Alright, meanwhile, Jaka Siswoyo has dropped places. I wonder what has happened. From the looks of it, Jaka Siswoyo's performance for tonight is a little bit inconsistent. Has the pace, but made a few mistakes here and there, which costed him dearly. Right, as you can see there, as I was saying earlier, Jason's line out of that corner is totally different from the other drivers. That allows him to sling all the way to the rear bumper of the driver in front of him. And it doesn't help that these two are fighting it out. He's going to be closing the gap very quickly. If these two keeps fighting, Jason is going to find that gap. Alright, Jakasiswoyo goes on the outside, on the inside. And he managed to make it stick. Overtakes Haditama. I must say I'm pretty pleased to have witnessed pretty close racing tonight here in RCL myself. This is truly bumper to bumper, door to door racing here we are witnessing tonight. Jason Tay, 0.2 of a second behind Haditama. He's gonna make his move soon, I reckon. Now they go into Wellington Straight, into turn 6 at Brooklands. And then onto Laffield, turn 7. And onto the National Pit Straight. We have less than 6 minutes to go into this race. And these three guys have been going at it since race 1. And like I said earlier, it depends on who cracks first. Meanwhile, Blake Holden and Taufik are also fighting it out for 6th and 7th respectively. Blake showing, even though he's a Pro M class driver, he can hang it out with the Pro driver as well. Blake, of course, an engineering student in real life, and he's looking to try out for the Australian driver search next year. So good luck to him in his future endeavors. And now we're back to the action. Alright, Taufik here, going to show that he is not going to be outclassed by a Pro M driver. Doing his best to attack. Taufik, of course, currently leading the championship in the Malaysia Championship Series e-Motorsports in Sepang, in Malaysia, where the winner gets to race for real in the Malaysia Championship Series. So for those of you who are watching here tonight and are interested in taking your first steps into e-Motorsports, do check out the RACL Facebook page at Race Room Asia Championship League and PM us to find out more. Because we foresee that in the near future the lines between simulator and real is going to be blurred pretty soon. Meanwhile, the stalemate between 2nd, 3rd and 4th is still going on. Seems that Haditama has lost a little bit of pace as the two guys behind him has started to close in on him. In the background there we can see Taruna running far away from these guys. He actually managed to blue flag the back marker. Meanwhile, Jaka Siswoyo is pushing Haditama hard at the moment, going side by side. Jason is trying to find a gap in this action unfolding in front of him. We have car number 6 right in front of them. That's gonna be traffic in front of them, so it's gonna be interesting to see how that pans out. So blue flags must be waving to car number 6 at the moment. I believe that's Zulkifli Wajdi in the foreground there. As you can see, the Mercedes, the white Mercedes with the orange stripe. Sure, blue flags are going to be waved at him. But it will prove to be a chance for these 3 drivers if the guy in front of him doesn't move out of the way. 1 minute left to go. Okay, so Wajdi moves out of the way for these 3 guys to go through. Jason Tay takes that opportunity to move on the inside of Rafi Haditama, but he doesn't manage to make it stick. But now he does, under braking. Jason Tay moves up into 3rd, tries to block, but has to leave some gap for Haditama, but he managed to make it stick and moves himself up to 3rd position. As you can see now, Jason Tay weaves on the inside but goes back to the racing line. Try to block Haditama. Try to close the gap. A little bit of contact there out of the corner. Jason Tay manages to barely stay into 3rd but has to yield position and moves down to 4th. Meanwhile, the battle between Taufik and Holden, Pro-Am versus Pro, is still going on, and it seems that the Pro-Am is getting away with it. 3 seconds left to go, and now we are awaiting for the checkered flag to be out. It seems to be official that Arwin Taruna is going to be first for this race. He has a very big lead. In fact, he has a 7.24 second lead to next driver Jaka Siswoyo. So we have Azrul Hashim in 9th position, the only Bruneian on the grid right now in number 27 Audi. And we have confirmation that Arwin Taruna has passed the checkered flag and comes in 1st position. But what a race there between Jaka Siswoyo. He should be chuffed with that performance of his. Despite a few mistakes here and there, he managed to make up for race 2 and move up to 2nd position, despite a horrendous first race he had earlier, getting stuck at the curb there after that spin. As they go for their in lap. So Jaka Siswoyo in 2nd, Rafi Haditama in 3rd. Defended for his life there against Jason Tay in race 2. Here we have Jonathan Takumili crossing the line as well. And there we have, folks, the results for today's race. Arwin Taruna in first, Jaka Siswoyo in second, Rafi Haditama in third, Jason Tay in fourth, Friki Segir in fifth, Blake Holden in sixth, Taufik Mohian in seventh, Mada Andika in eighth, Azrul Hashim in ninth, Henry Ko in 10th, Jonathan Lee in 11th, Zulkifli Wajdi in 12th, Sim Kaiwan in 13th, and Eric Howe rounds out the pack in 14th. So we have two DNFs here between Sim Kaiwan and Eric Howe. We have a bit of damage there on Friki Segir. He will be quite happy to finish in 5th despite what happened earlier. But so there you have it, folks. Thank you for watching tonight's coverage of Race Room Asia Championship League Round 6 at Silverstone. Stay tuned for Round 7 in 2 weeks' time. This is Asafi Asadi, driver for Plus 65 Motorsports, signing out.